Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
We'll explain when we get to that part. Okay, so welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Committee of Revision special meeting today. And we have one item on the agenda. Do we have any declarations of interest? No, we don't. The item that we have before us today is the local improvement Manotick Hillside Garden sanitary sewer extension. I don't think that we need a report on this. Do you, Mr.? I'm sorry, a presentation. We do have the report. But we do have someone who has come and has some questions for us, and that is Tanya Ashton. Do you want to come up here so we'll hear what your questions are, and then if we have any questions of our city legal or our committee legal, we will, or our infrastructure staff. So welcome. Can you, so you live on Driscoll?
I do. I live on Driscoll. I live at 5261 Driscoll Drive. I'd just like to tell you that I've never been to a meeting like this before, and I just was writing some notes in the hallway as I had a few minutes, so I thank you for letting me speak.
Well, just so you know, usually don't let this look like the next time you come to a meeting. Usually there's a lot of people here.
Yes.
And you're never going to be the first person that's speaking to any of our planning committee or environment committee or library board or crime prevention Ottawa. We have many, so you're welcome to come today, and I understand that you have some questions. And so just be relaxed and ask us, and hopefully we can help you.
Okay. So if you wouldn't mind, I would just kind of read my thoughts. Some background about me. I'm a single mom to 2 young boys, Thomas, who's 7, and Cameron, who's 5. And we took possession of our home in Manotick on October 12th of 2012, so just over a year ago. I bought it privately from the previous homeowners, and they were selling it privately as they had it listed on Grapevine. So the whole transaction was done privately. Did not have a real estate agent, however, had my attorney, Helena Procu, who is based in Manotick as well. And she did the title insurance as part of our legal package, and it came out clear. So I did negotiate with the homeowners a reduction in price of $7,000 because the age of my furnace was quite old. So I knew that ahead of time, was able to negotiate the price of that down. I was not made aware of these charges, and if I had been made aware of these charges, my bill is $11,500. If I had been made aware of those, I would have negotiated that as well.
So just to get us back to where you are right now.
Yes.
You're saying that and I actually know who your lawyer is too, for that matter, but she did not highlight for you the fact that there was outstanding local improvement charges on the property that you purchased in 2012.
That was not revealed.
Okay.
No.
And you
so
would have acted differently.
So much to my surprise, I receive a bill like this. And I love my home. I live in a very modest home, 1,500 square feet. I love where I live. But I don't think it's fair that I have to pay for the time that I was not living in the home. Prior to moving to Manotick, the reason why we moved, my sons and I moved there, was to be closer to their father. He lives 3 kilometers away from us. I lived in the community of Leslie Park. So I paid my sewer charges and paid all my bills there. So I think it's fair that I pay as of the time I took possession of my home, which was October 12th, 2012.
Can I just ask you, I mean, I don't know that this has any bearing or not, but the people that sold it to you, had they been there for...
5 years prior.
5 years only. Okay, so they were there. Yeah, they wouldn't have been on the petition either. They would have been? Hang on a second, okay? This is quite informal, too. It can be. Just, pretty much anything I chair is informal. But
Madam Chair, the petition came before Agriculture and Rural Affairs Committee in April 2008. It would have been done before then. If it was just October 2007, perhaps they weren't there when the petition was gathered. I would think it likely that they were, and in the end, it will not surprise the committee that it would be my submission that it doesn't make a difference, but I can certainly find the answer to the question.
Okay. Councillor Kadri, do you have any questions? And we'll come back to you if you have more to add. But
Just one question to Mr. Mark, if I may be able to ask that, is the information you just provided in terms of coming back to with some information, background information, should we be not looking at this file today because of that information that may be coming forward?
Madam Chair, my answer would be no, and I would have some comments to make with respect to the submissions you've received that this committee would have heard before, but the person presenting to you will not have. But it would be staff's view that, if I could just go into what I'm going to say, Madam Chair?
Yes, please.
I think it'll be helpful. So this committee has heard before, on occasions dating back to its first meetings in December of last year and January of this year, with respect to people who had acquired the property after the charge, after the work had been done, after the petition had been signed. And this committee is well aware that in April of 2013, this year, Council approved a program by which those who obtained tax certificates which did not show the pending local improvement charge and were unaware of the local improvement at the time they acquired the property would have the charge waived by Council, not this committee, but by Council, and that provided relief to some people. Subsequent to April 2013, staff became aware that a number of people had not obtained tax certificates because they were relying upon title insurance, and there was some expectation that the title insurance companies would take care of the charge. Even after that, staff became informed by people who had made claims against title insurance companies that they were refusing coverage, and staff have been provided with a couple letters from the purchasers that they obtained from their title insurance companies outlining the rationale why. At its last meeting on September the 26th of this year, I advised committee that staff were looking at this issue, that a position would be arrived at, and Councillor Moffat, acting chair at the time, made the comment that he would expect something to come to Council's attention. I've received at least one similar inquiry by another member of Council with respect to that issue. So the long and the short of it, Madam Chair, is we have been made aware of several instances where title insurance companies have denied coverage. Staff are looking at the issue and will report back to Council, but that the charge itself is, in the opinion of city staff, validly imposed under Local Improvement Act, Local Improvement Regulation, and staff would submit to you that it ought to be approved today by this committee and allow the process that's developing with respect to title insurance matters to play its way out. Staff have committed to have that position developed by the end of this year, Madam Chair. Okay.
Did you understand any of that? No. I knew that you didn't. I was going to interrupt me earlier because I didn't think that there was any hope that you would. Bottom line is that Council has already given direction to legal counsel of the city to do some further work. But at the same time, Council supported, not this committee, and we also serve as the Court of Revision and the committee. This is the Committee of Revision. But Council itself said, you know what, we've got some inconsistencies here. Some of this stuff has been going on for quite a while. In some cases, the levy didn't hit the tax roll. In some cases, there were some other issues in that. And so what we did is we, as a council, said that if the homeowner could prove certain things, one of them being that you had no knowledge, that it wasn't on your tax roll, that, what was the other simple thing? I'm trying to make it...
Acquired the property after the work was constructed, no knowledge, and had a clear tax certificate.
Okay?
Yes.
So there is that we've already approved, and that is separate from what we do here today.
Mm-hmm.
So what would the, Ms. Bradley? I don't think that...
I disagree, and again, remind the committee that the issue that's been raised is not within the jurisdiction of this committee, and as we understand from Mr. Mark, is being looked at, or will be looked at and considered by City Council.
So
So it's
you
going to be
don't
looked at.
but you don't have, but I don't want you to go back to your neighborhood, depending on what we decide here, and think that everybody is in the same boat. We were very strict in what we approved at council. Those are the conditions that must be met. One, you had no ability to have the prior knowledge that there was an agreement back in X year that ended in servicing being put into a property that you now own, with a couple of other provisos. Okay? So I mean, today what's before this committee is this a fair assessment, and have the assessments been worked out in a fair way, and should we go forward and approve the assessments that are here? That's really what we're being asked to do. You are now, what you're talking about is outside of the process that we can deal with today. That doesn't mean there's not a process that can help you, though. So, for example, if our very small committee is to approve all of the pricing, the costing that's associated with here, that doesn't mean that you can't go through your process. Is that fair to say what I just said, everybody?
Yes, I think what you may want to do is just keep in touch with Mr. Mark, but it's not within the jurisdiction of this committee.
Okay, so what I'm going to suggest, because this is, you just came today, you do have some questions. Certainly, we can help you with those questions. But what Councillor Kadri and myself are being asked to do today is have the staff, has the work been done? Is the assessment been worked out fairly? And that's it. So the good news is you came today, you've got some questions. There is a ruling from council that may or may not help you, and I've told you some of it. And so we'll go through our process, and then I'm sure that Mr. Mark will give you some advice. Right, Mr. Mark?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay?
I think
So don't go anywhere. You can go back to your seat unless you have anything else to say. But then, when our meeting is over, you can have a chat with him, and he'll give you some good guidance.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything that they feel that they need to say, want to say on this? No? Around the room? Alain? No? We're good? Mr. Mark? Fine. So before us is the motion that the Committee of Revision receives and approves the local improvement special assessment role for the Manotick Hillside Gardens Sewer Extension Project as outlined in this report. Is that carried? That's carried. Thanks very much. So are there any inquiries? Or other business? There's no other business, is there? Okay, so we are adjourned until our next meeting. Okay, thank you, everybody.